Welcome to our lecture this week and case study number 3. You're going to have me watch me checking my notes a lot this week because while our case study for FAPE, Free and Appropriate Public Education, is shorter, it has a lot of meat to it. So let's dive in. I want to just quickly review the slide I put in there about why it's important for special education teachers to be legally literate. It's an important article that I base a lot of my teaching on by Yellen Bateman that just outlines the fact that while you don't need to memorize the law, you don't need to be a specialist in special education law, you need to be aware and know how to use your resources for special education law, which really provides the basis for why we do these case studies and why we ask you to dig in and engage each case study in each of the 5 case studies, but really dig into 3 and have this tool and this ability and this application as part of your teacher preparation. So with that in mind, let's dig into Mariana's 4th and 5th grade years. We're going to lean a little bit into the law for this case summary because we're talking about free and appropriate public education, which I'll refer to as FAPE. And there are 2 very important court cases that have really become the foundation for FAPE in our state and in our nation and in our circuit court. And those are the Rowley case and the Andrew F. case, which you've read about this week. I'm not going to get deep legally, but I want you to really keep in mind as you think about this case and how we summarize this case, I want you to think about the fact that we really need to look at the substantive or subjective part of what's going on with Mariana. That's that nebulous, appropriate, unique, individual plans for Mariana. We are not focused for this case at all on the procedural or the objective ways that we measure, crossing our T's and dotting our I's on the IEP. If you choose to do this as your assignment and as you engage with it, don't spend a lot of time on if part A was done and part B was done and it follows a very linear procedural compliance. We're looking really here at that second part of Andrew and whether or not this school or schools, as it might be the case, have really planned a reasonably calculated and appropriate education for Mariana. So moving on from there, I do have a slide that kind of summarizes this for you next after this lecture. But moving on from there, let's think about this case and let's think about, do we know, has there been data presented to assure that her school in 4th and 5th grade made reasonable calculations to enable Mariana to make progress in academics in the general education curriculum? Do we know? We can make some assumptions with this case, but we don't have a lot of the data. We have repeated IEP goals and objectives. We have a 30% completion rate on her 4th grade IEPs, on her IEP goals. We don't know if there's enough data here. So think about it that way. And also, what are Mariana's unique circumstances? Do we feel like the school that she's in for 4th and 5th grade, which is a school of choice for her, do we feel like they focused on individual needs? Are they intended to be met, and have they been approached with specially designed instruction, supplementary aids, and services? Or do we think Mariana is part of the 4th and 5th grade curriculum not succeeding because she doesn't have an individualized plan and specially designed instruction? Is her current performance, especially in reading, based on low expectations? Or do they have a different focus? Is the school she's in for 4th and 5th grade more focused on her social, emotional, and social skills and the fact that she is kind of blooming at this new school socially? We do know that we don't have any progress monitoring data. What data we do have is pointing to no academic growth. We know that she's in 4th grade and 5th grade and reading at a 2nd grade level. And in her 4th grade IEP, 30% of her IEP goals were met. That's kind of a red flag. fifth grade, which is the current year from which we're looking at for her case study, mom and dad are increasingly concerned about her academics, and they've called this meeting. And that's what we're here to judge. So taking a look at the issues around whether or not this school is meeting Mariana's unique needs with specially designed instruction that is individual to Mariana. And I would have to say in this case, without giving you exact evidence that I'm hoping you'll choose to highlight if you choose this as an assignment, that no, the school is not following and providing specially designed instruction, meeting her unique needs in an individualized plan. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into the difference in which schools she's attending and some more of the legal issues and requirements in our next couple of lectures. But that's, in a nutshell, what's going on with Mariana.